welcome back to E is for Dragon. I'm Nick.
I'm Sean.
I'm Charlie.
And this is episode 3. We've got a long one today. We've decided that some of these earlier chapters aren't really cutting it in terms of content. Not in a bad way, just kind of like in a length way.
They're about 3 pages.
Yeah, they're about 3 pages. Not a lot happens. So, in today's run-through, which I'm doing today, I'm going to summarize 5 whole chapters.
Woohoo! Good luck.
Yeah.
Fighting!
Alright, number 1. So we've just come back from Awakening, right?
Yeah.
Where Saphira, our unnamed dragon, has, finally, become their own person, as such. And Roran and Aragon are going back to Carver Hall to talk to Brom and get some more information.
They're going back to Carver Hall to fix Roran's chisel.
Roran's
which,
chisel.
as we have established in the previous episodes, was broken when Aragon was hitting random things on the egg.
Yeah, we're pretty sure that's what happened. So Roran's going back to fix the chisel, and Aragon's going with him, with the side goal of talking to Brom and asking about the dragons. So in Tifa 2, Aragon goes alone to Brom's house, which has some beautiful descriptions in there, which we'll talk about later. And Aragon asks a lot of questions of Brom, and Brom delivers a lot of exposition and lore on the dragons and the dragon riders. So we get some descriptions of how the dragons and the dwarves were the first natives to Alagasia, how the elves came to Alagasia. They fought a war with the dragons, and eventually there was a truce because of the elves finding the dragon egg and the kind of first dragon riders.
Whose name is?
Whose name is Aragon. Probably not foreshadowing anything, I'm not sure.
Is it even foreshadowing? It's like backshadowing.
Yeah. That's where my name came from? This first
Weird.
dragon ride? Wow.
Oh, I'm sure that doesn't mean anything.
Anyways, we hear that dragon riders are cool and powerful and smart once again, which, based on Aragon, not too sure about that smart thing, but it's okay. Humans and Urgles were also later additions to Alagasia. What were some of the other stories in here?
Let's see.
Those are the big ones.
I think those are the big ones. And also, finally, just before he leaves, Aragon starts asking a lot of questions, by the way, and Brom's like,
Yeah, Aragon is not
where did you
slick
get
at
this
this conversation.
He's asking a lot of questions about, dragons, very specific dragon questions.
yeah, and he goes, a traveler told me, Brom
I don't
goes,
know his name.
There's no way they could have known this. Anyway, the last thing Aragon is asking is, can you please give my dragon, any dragon, a name? So Brom goes and lists a whole lot of names for Aragon. And Aragon just kind of says, alright, cool, okay, I'm going now, bye. And that's the end of that chapter.
And sprints out of his house.
Yeah. Very funny interaction between Aragon and his only friend, Brom. So, next we've got a name of power. Kind of a short one. We've got Roran. We'll see what Roran's gotten up to in Carver Hall. He's over at Horst's, and there is a man named Denton who has offered Roran a job at a mill in a nearby town. And basically, Roran says, well, it sounds like a good job. I'm going to take it so I can have make some more money so that I may wed Katrina. And Aragon goes, what the heck? You are leaving me. I can't believe you've done this. I hope Garrow says no. Then Aragon goes and has a bit of a moan to Saphira, to the dragon, and then says, now, I'm going to give you a name. Here's a list of names that my good friend Brom gave me. He lists a lot of them. The dragon laughs, and then Aragon comes to realization that the dragon is a girl. And we finally land upon the name Saphira, the blue dragon.
Finally!
The name that Brom muttered under his breath at the end of the list.
Seemed a little sad about for whatever reason.
Saphira.
And Saphira.
Neither of them were acting normal in that.
Yeah.
No, I'm looking forward to talking about that one.
Aragorn was like, tell me about dragons. And Brom was like, ooh, I'll tell you about dragons. Like, they're not a story, boy. We'll come back to it. Chapter 3-ish of the episode. The Mill of to Be. We've got Aragorn and Roran arriving back at home, and eventually, Roran says to Garrow that I was offered a job and I would like to take it. And both of them are holding their breath, and then Garrow's just like, okay. Very anticlimactic for him to say, okay, you're a man now. I expected this, actually. And it's funny because it's like a big turning point for both of the boys growing up.
Mm.
And they established that over the next few days, Roran starts packing, Aragorn's really upset, and Aragorn's talking to Saphira a lot more, and she's growing, and it's a huge time of change. Saphira is actually established as a real person, not just a mindless beast. Which, I mean, going along with the previous talk from Tifa 2, we established that dragons are real sentient animals once more.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a small moment where, as Roran's doing his final packing and Aragorn's like maybe going to say a nice goodbye, Roran picks up a cool rock that Aragorn gave him and puts it back on the shelf.
The ultimate betrayal.
Ultimate betrayal. So sad.
He turns on his heel, walks away.
I can't be here anymore. So strangers in Carvajal. bit more content in this chapter here. So Aragorn and Roran are going back into Carvajal once more. As Roran's getting ready to go leave and join Dempton at the mill. Garrow has a small moment being a good father or whatever, giving a nice little speech that he's prepared earlier, saying, this time, you're going to be men, or something like that. We'll come back to it. And both of them turn and look at the farm and say, this is our whole world, which is very touching and nice.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few more things that happen in Carvajal, actually. So they talk to Dempton at Horst Smith. Horst pulls Aragorn aside and says something about two hooded strangers wandering around asking for the cool rock, the dragon egg, that Aragorn brought into town. And Horst advises, if you still have that, you should get rid of it. Obviously, we as the readers know it's far too late for that. But anyway, Aragorn walks around trying to find these two guys, which, honestly, pretty ill-advised, and overhears some sleazy voice giving them information, and it's our best evil guy, Sloane.
Oh, beloved.
Oh, terrible, awful. He sucks so bad.
We'll get into it.
And as Aragorn's trying to, scurry back home, these two guys see him, and seem to, mentally paralyze him with perhaps magic, perhaps fear. Brom swoops in to save him, whisks him away, but not before getting a glance at the silver mark on Aragorn's hand. And finally, we've got Flight of Destiny. Very fun little chapter. Aragorn sprinting back home, Saphira screaming in his mind, and I don't know, kind of throwing a tantrum. Aragorn jumps on, and Saphira flies all the way to the spine, kind of making a huge mess and stranding them both in the spine away from civilization. Aragorn maybe not able to walk or something because his legs are so ripped apart by the scales of Saphira's legs. Saphira's scales on his legs. And they sit down, they make camp, and they begin to think what they're going to do in their isolation out in the spine, middle of nowhere. Bit of a disaster, honestly.
Yeah, it's all gone horribly
Aragorn
wrong.
All gone horribly
is
wrong.
whinging and moping and screaming and crying every chapter.
Yeah.
He's having such a bad time throughout his 5 chapters.
Well, he's honestly, for most of the time, he's having a pretty medium time and just handling it really badly.
Yeah, let's start out with Tifa 2.
Tifa 2.
Bron's description here is excellent.
Yes.
Oh
He's-
my god, why
he's
is he
such
the
a
oldest
wizard.
man in the world? He's got a robe and he's got a staff. He's got a strange sapphire ring with an unknown symbol.
See, we go back to
His
like
staff
the
is
early chapter
embellished
writing
with
style.
strange carvings. He's got silver hair, not white, because he's cool.
Yeah, I think this is probably descriptively the strongest chapter out of the 5 of them. I feel like
There's just like lists and lists of imagery
Yeah.
and everything going on in Brom's little house.
Bron's
house
got no fucking
sucks.
windows.
Yes, it's pitch
They
black
go
in
in
there
and
and it
it's pitch
stinks.
black.
Oh, I'm
It's the
gonna light a
middle of
candle.
the day.
It's described as being black as charcoal with an acrid smell in the air.
That's because of all the tobacco he's smoking. And he's got his fireplace going.
He sits at the fireplace. His house is full of
Books,
books and papers and
wooden furniture.
special tomes and stuff, and he's like, be careful touching those, they're expensive and rare tomes. It's like,
And he lights a
You-
candle and walks around.
yeah.
with it.
You've got no windows and your house is constantly lit by fire.
You don't have any lanterns or anything. It's just a
Yeah.
naked candle and an open fireplace.
You reckon he just sits there in the dark and smokes his pipe?
Yeah, dude. Bron can definitely see in the dark.
Yeah.
I was kind of considering, well, maybe you can see in the dark. I was considering, I mean, I know we're trying to be no spoilers on this, but I was considering perhaps he was doing a little bit of a magic show by himself each
Yeah,
night.
well, he does cast a spell directly in front of Eragon,
But he just,
and he just doesn't notice.
He just fiddles
He
around
does
like,
that
ooh,
forever.
lighting something.
Yeah, he.
that's, from my memory, he does that, constantly. And Eragon doesn't figure out that magic, that he has, magic even fucking exists or whatever.
for ages.
Eragon had
ages.
that, the dragon egg explode in the forest in front of him, and he thought, oh, weird.
Yeah, that's alright.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever crossed
Must have
his
been the
mind
wind.
that anybody he knows could possibly do that.
Yeah.
But Brom is straight up just casting a fire spell in front of him, and he's like, okay,
Yeah.
this doesn't matter to me. But yeah, I think it's he's using Brissinger to just light a candle.
Just to light a candle.
It's just like, bro,
Come
just
on,
use
dude.
your tinderbox.
It's so funny.
What does Brom do for a living?
I was really wondering that.
Like, why
I
does
think
he have all
I think
these
I have
belongings?
literally written this in here somewhere. Or possibly in a previous chapter I didn't get around to saying it.
His house is full
Yes,
of...
no. How does he make a living? He's a storyteller. He's got no family. He just arrived here 5 years ago and purchased a house.
15 years ago. He arrived basically immediately
30 or
after...
15. I've written one of my 5 very close
yeah, basically
together.
immediately after Eragon was born, not suspicious at all. And he's got a bunch of
Apparently
beautiful,
it's not.
rare shit in his house and no job.
And no one's asking where he got this. And everyone's just like, Brom's the weird guy that lives in the edge of town and tells stories about the dragons.
And that's like all he does. And he's got a big, beautiful sapphire ring on his hand. Like, the chair he's sitting in is described really intricately as being like an eagle-clawed
The
leather
four
back.
legs were shaped like eagle claws. The seat and back were padded with leather embossed with a swirling rose pattern.
Yeah, like he's
A cluster of lesser chairs.
Yeah, I love the
Our
lesser
child
chairs.
scrolls.
Boy, sit in my lesser chairs.
You can have any of these shit chairs.
Sorry, boy, you're
Just
not
be
good
careful with the parchment that's sitting there right now.
Yeah, maybe he like transcribes stuff for people because not a lot of people can read and write.
enough. Yeah.
But then
Why did they need it?
why do they need it transcribed? Because
Because
they
they
can't
can't
read.
read or write.
Maybe they can't read or write, so he's doing their taxes.
That's probably it, honestly.
Brom, the accountant.
Oh my god, he lives his whole life and he ends up in a shit-ass village in the middle of nowhere as an accountant.
Yeah. All these village people who know like the numbers up to 10, so they've just got like a big tally of like 4, 6.
Yeah, his house kind of is horrible and very, very dark and evil.
You guys reckon all the storekeepers in Carver Hall, like, they've got listed prices, or they're just making it up on
They're
the
just
day?
making that
They're,
shit up.
they're making it up so that Sloane can say, oh, it's Aragon. 5 million gold pieces.
For one pork chop.
You want to purchase my fucking pork chop?
How
Become
dare
destitute.
you?
Honestly, die.
He's already destitute.
The way that Aragon talks in this chapter is so strange. I don't think that Paulini had conversations figured out yet. I've got a section here that's Brom just straight up there just says, "What do you want, boy?" And then there is a section of description, and then his answer is, "To get information." Which is like, that is not how you would answer
That's
that
the
question.
dialogue tree, and then he goes into, like, when he actually says it, it's 3 lines of dialogue, but it's
The
like,
option he chose.
my option I select is to get information, and then...
He just says it out loud. Yeah, I found a lot of the, like, when Brom's talking and, like, telling his little stories and stuff, everything's fine to read and like, not really very bothersome, but when Aragon is, like, at the end of it, he says something, oh yeah, like, I learned everything I wanted to, and more, which is like, you would never, ever talk like that.
You know that Polygon video where they're doing, like, IRL of that really shit video game? They're all, like, walking up to each other like, hello!
Like
I can't
visual
remember.
novel style dialogue.
I can't remember what the
It's of
game's
the one where
called.
if you say melons, they tell you to get
Shenmue?
out. Shenmue? Okay, we're thinking of different games. I'm thinking of Facade.
I'm just seeing Skyrim dialogue.
That is just Oblivion
It's all
dialogue.
very similar.
We're all on the same page.
We're on, like, different parts of the same page.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
fine, you get what I mean.
But yeah, he's talking like a robot in this chapter.
But I kind of was picturing him like someone had picked up the sprite and was just like through the scene, like.
Yeah, Aragon's not really a character in this chapter. He's just here to get information
Yeah.
for us to learn about dragons.
I love how obvious him and Brom are being.
But
Like, he walks... It seems like Aragon goes and just asks Brom, like, 5 million questions every time he's in town. Like, he's not surprised by it. And when he leaves, he's like, oh, you're actually leaving already? I thought it would be hours.
I want to know what other stories Brom's telling.
Yeah.
oh no, he's not telling the same
He's
one
not
over
telling
again.
the same
Scarrow's
story.
like, oh my god, I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
He's also like really angry that people are calling him stories.
He-
like this is what happened. I was there.
It's like, you're Brom the
shouting.
storyteller.
Yeah.
Sorry, you told us a story. Story doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Yeah, but
He's
I love
really
that
mad
they
about
start
that.
this conversation. Aragon's like, give me information on the dragon riders.
And he goes, okay.
He goes, okay, and then he says, no, of course no one can possibly know for certain because all of the riders are dead and no one from them is still alive,
Ha
aha!
ha ha ha.
And then tells us with complete certainty everything proceeds. Like, he's not like people say that, he doesn't even like couch it in a
No.
little bit of like vague language. He's just like, and then this happened, and then this happened, and this is how people felt about it, and this was
Well, what's he gonna do? Go tell the king on him? Like, he's getting away with it. I love Aragon not even being sure that elves exist.
Yeah, and the dwarves as well. I think he was a little more on board with the dwarves existing.
I brought
He's
up
like,
that
our
I'm a
elves
huge
real?
dwarf fan.
You have, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like going back in my
Do you
mind
remember the
palace.
dwarves?
I think I do remember the dwarves now, and this may have been where I got my love of dwarves from.
Yeah, the dwarves in this are really cool.
Just the imagery of their entire home.
Mhm.
I'm sure we'll get to it.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Thank God, yeah, soon, hopefully.
Is it?
Oh, no
No,
way, bro.
no.
No, bro,
crossed
they
the
are crossing the
desert.
desert for 200 pages.
Yeah.
We might have to just read like a 100-page chunk of the book.
It's not that bad. It's long. The desert's not even that much of it. It's just they're travelling a really long way, and then they get to the desert and travel across the desert. There's just a lot of travelling. The desert's not that far because of the desert. There's something happening in there.
They don't really talk about it, but I think it does a really good job of like getting across how much of a sheltered little country boy he is. He
Yeah.
like doesn't know anything.
Oh, when he says, "But what? We've been here for 300 years."
We've been here forever.
Yeah.
It's like,
He's so offended by the idea that his family is not native to this.
yeah, it's like
This village.
you literally, your dad isn't even from here.
Yeah, Brom says that, and in his head fucking fuming.
Fuming.
Like, no one can tell me that I don't belong here. No one can tell me that this is not my birthplace. Literally no one is telling you that.
He's really mad in all of these chapters.
Yeah.
He's having a little teenage moment, I think.
He's on the cusp of becoming a man.
You're on the cusp of manhood.
My God, the shades are gonna get him.
I just can't believe that Aragon is also the first dragon rider.
It's
very funny.
why did you name your son
No,
that?
I gotta say, now we all know who his parents are, but I guess we're not saying spoilers or whatever, but you guys were not slick there.
Yeah.
You guys knew exactly what was going on.
You guys
here.
knew what you were doing, and you could have just done something else.
I had kind of taken for granted that Aragon was just like a regular human name that fits in everywhere.
Elvish.
But
He's
it's
got an
Elvish.
elf name.
He's got an elf name.
He's got an untranslatable elf name.
Yeah.
So old that
That's
the
why he
meaning
has
is
no
lost.
friends.
Elf
boy.
Elf boy.
Everybody's making fun of him. Well, nobody in this village knows that elves exist.
No, yeah, that's true. Except Brom.
Except Brom. God.
I think it's cool that dwarves and dragons are native, but elves aren't.
Yeah, well, that's very Tolkien.
Yeah,
Like a lot of
elves
this.
from the land far away.
Yeah, it's like it's a fantasy novel written in the last 70 years. Of course,
So it's influenced by
yeah,
Tolkien,
but
of course.
it's very heavily influenced by Tolkien. I feel like he definitely read Lord of the Rings before writing these. But yeah, I don't know too much about Lord of the Rings. I read the first two and then I gave up because I was 12 and they were hard.
Yeah.
But I
I
think
haven't even seen the movies, so...
well,
I've seen one Lord of the Ring movie.
you've seen two of the shitty
And
Hobbit
two of
movies.
the Hobbits.
Listeners beware, we are definitely qualified to do an Aragon podcast, just not a
Just
Lord
not
of the Rings
anything else. But I think
I'm
also
so
might also
qualified
be
to do an
native.
animals podcast. You take that back.
Sorry.
Just because it's not fantasy.
I think it's fantasy.
It's science fiction, dude.
Yeah, animals is science fiction.
Alright.
Extremely.
They're two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
I thought the dragon versus elf war only lasting 5 years was pretty...
Wait, what?
Yeah, dude, 5 years.
I thought I read 50. 5
5.
years? Dude.
Because I thought it was fun because they're such long-lived races. It must have just been
Horrible.
so bad.
I love that it was just like the elves turned up here and they're like, some fucking beasts are here and killed
Woohoo!
one, and that was it. It was on site. And then they learned that they were people and
And they
didn't
were like,
do
"Oh,
and just
God."
kept fighting and didn't try and fix it.
Oh god, it's people we're fighting. We better fight harder.
People who are way more magical, way bigger, and way scarier than us.
They do make a point later on in the chapter that, a lot of the reason people don't stand against the Dragon Riders is because there's a giant fuck-off dragon in front
Yeah,
of
and that's
you.
a guy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You
Well,
want
the
to fight
people
this guy?
don't even know at this point. Everyone, Aragon seems to have, frankly, higher than standard knowledge of dragons because Brom's spouting heresy all the time or whatever, and he thought that they were beasts. So I used some fuck all random and tear 'em or whatever. It's just whoa, big lizard.
Big lizard breathe fire. You know what? You're right. I'm not gonna fuck with that guy.
But they can't talk out loud. They can only speak psychically. So
Yeah.
maybe it's
Yeah.
a little harder to recognize that as a person when it's not speaking to you.
Yeah, because I'm realizing now that I'm pretty sure they never said what the first Aragon's dragon was named,
Mm-mm.
which is a little...
Oh yeah.
When you're making your whole point about how dragons are people, maybe you...
Maybe you should have said their name.
No, I think the name might have been in there.
Is this a demon situation where your dragon is always the opposite sex to you?
No,
No.
the first
Oh,
dragon was
true
named the Dawn.
Oh. The Dawn?
The Dawn.
Yes.
The Dawn.
That sucks.
Ba-doom.
Ba-dum.
Alright, I take it back. I just hadn't written it down.
Just simply did. I forgot.
Also, we got a name drop of the island Brongard and Doru Arabia, the ancestral home of dragons.
Yeah, I think we got the Dragon Riders. I think we got that
Dragon
dropped
Riders.
when he was telling everybody about Graveltorix's nasty trick.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was the capital city before it got renamed to whatever it's called now.
Oh, right. Yeah, I think the map in the front kind of has a lot of spoilers on it, to be honest.
I thought something that was super fun was that Brom mentions that at their height, the riders controlled an area twice the size of the current Empire.
Well, the Empire currently only gets up to the Hard Rock Desert and stops.
Yeah, and it doesn't go further up than basically where Aragon is right now.
Like, what are they controlling? Just the desert?
Well, there's like...
Well, I think they're not even bothering to control the desert.
Nobody lives there. Well, some people live there, but who cares?
Yeah.
I've seen
and there's like fully just another country at the bottom.
Oh,
yeah, sort of.
right.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't like...
Don't come in here. And they're tiny. They're teeny tiny. But I've seen a larger map of Allocasia, and there's more cities and shit on the other side of the desert.
Oh.
I think it came out with the companion book.
Oh, exciting.
I can't remember what the line, The Witch and the Wardrobe one.
It's The Witch, the Worm, and something
There
like
you
that.
go. Yeah, but there's heaps more kind of that way.
No, yeah, looking at the map now, I could
Yeah,
definitely
just
see.
the stop.
Yeah.
Oh,
Something that I actually I found this out a few weeks ago and just forgot to mention it. But I'm pretty certain that Palancar Valley is named after the illustrator of the covers,
Aww.
Aww,
which is really sweet.
Yeah.
this is nice. I was questioning how old the writers were, because like Brom doesn't quite say how long ago they got established, but like humans being so new to the continent is genuinely very, very funny from like an elven perspective, which is just a guy who is like me but way worse shows up and dies a week after he's born. Like, they're so shit and weak and short-lived. Like,
I like that when the humans become writers, they become more elf-like.
yes,
Mhm.
because elves are swag.
Yeah.
I love that Aragon hears that and he's like,
Oh my god,
He's
no.
like,
I know
wait,
what's happening
really?
To me.
how much elf do they become? I mean, did they become?
I mean, I mean...
Almost reaches to his ears, like,
Oh.
Like, he's literally like, don't touch your ears, don't touch your ears.
He's doing such a bad job of, like, not showing his hands here, and he's so caught up in the fact that he needs to be secretive that he's not even getting the fact that Brom is like, I got it, I know, I've got it figured out, bro, the whole time. And Brom is, like, so obviously himself
Obviously he
that, like,
knows.
Yeah. So obvious that he knows a little bit more than he ought to.
he knows just a wee
for
bit
some
too much.
reason. Just nothing.
Yeah, he doesn't even think to ask himself, like, why Brom would know any of this.
Well, he's just an old storyteller.
Yeah, old guys know this
Yeah, he
shit.
just picked up all this knowledge.
Yeah, it's just the oldest man in the world, so like whatever.
The wizard.
Except actually,
How old? Well, we'll get
I don't
there.
know.
Brom's
Well,
pretty
it
old.
says that dragon riders are immortal. I mean... I
But
think
only as long as the dragon lives.
so
The dragon's sharing the magic.
the dragons are also immortal.
Yeah, dragons can't
Yeah.
die.
Yeah.
Well, they can.
Well, they can.
Well,
So,
they can
don't
only
die.
die in combat. They can only die from being killed.
I think they can probably get a disease as well. Like a lobster.
Yeah.
They get too big and they can't fly anymore.
Probably. I thought the,
But they would have like community care. Someone would feed them. They would just keep getting bigger.
Yeah.
that would kind of be a horrible life.
Oh my god.
Walk.
Oh yeah, you walk around. I thought the not to have another zoology moment on the podcast, but the maturation rate was bizarre.
Yeah.
Like, why does
Why is it like so exponential and then just stops?
why does a gigantic carnivore need to be sexually mature at 5 to 6 months? They're like
Yeah, that ain't normal.
True.
most like large predators or large animals in general, sexual maturity kind of scales with size. Like an elephant is like 7 years or something,
Mm.
and like even
The grizzly bear's like 3 or something.
Yeah.
3 or 4.
and even like smaller predators like lions and stuff. Well, not smaller, but like in comparison, it's like 1.5 years.
Yeah.
It's like, why does a dragon who is as big as a house need to fuck instantly?
Yeah, like literally no reason.
And yeah, that was just bizarre. And also the fact that they keep growing forever is so fucked up and scary.
How big could a dragon get?
I think it mentions as big as a small hill.
Ugh.
It's like, what are you eating at that point?
Everything.
You're going and hunting whales.
Probably.
Yeah, honestly. I don't know how aquatic dragons are, but in Flight Rising, the dragon pet game, there is a breed of dragons called Ridgebacks, and they're like diving dragons. They're really
Cool.
So I wish a very aquatic, semi-aquatic nature upon all dragons. Yeah, and then he just kind of bails.
Yeah, he's just like, okay, I got the list of names. Goodbye. And Brom's like, huh?
Oh,
You don't have more questions?
He also asks if dragon riders could share a psychic link with their dragon, and Brom's like, no, that never happened.
Nobody would know that.
Why would he lie about that?
Yeah, I don't know why he said it's not possible instead of saying, well, how would I know?
Yeah.
Or something of the sort.
And your shitty trader wouldn't know that either.
Who told you that? Some trader? What's his name? What's his social security
Where does he
number?
live?
Where is he?
Yeah,
What did he say? Where did he say?
I'm in his walls.
I get from
And
like
Eragon's like,
He doesn't
I
exist.
forgot.
I get from Brom's point of view, it's probably a security thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, why is there a guy around here that knows so much about dragons? I gotta find him and kill him now.
Yeah.
But, like, clearly he's lying.
Like it was the worst lie in the world. He hadn't even gone in there with a cover story in case Brom was like, why are you asking?
Just straight up made it up on the spot. I guess it's an okay cover story because the traders are gone.
And the traders were just there.
But you're hungry, bro.
Leave me alone. No, look me.
But it sucked, and he was very bad at it.
And that's okay.
Yeah, and then
I also love how Eragon got him to give him the list of names, where he's like, oh, I was thinking about a story about a dragon I heard, but I can't remember what the dragon's name is, or the story. Could you list every dragon?
Oh, you like dragons?
name every dragon. And then he does.
Yeah.
He does. He
Sapphira.
lists so...
Isn't he crying?
He's
I
like
think he might be shedding a single tear.
Oh, this is the second time that Brom has shed a single tear while talking about dragons.
Oh
by the
no,
way.
he just quietly emptied his pipe. He uttered so softly that Eragon almost did not hear.
I gotta get in
Sapphira.
there. I'm absolutely certain he's crying.
I just imagine he would be crying, you know?
Yeah.
It seems like
He's
the kind of
definitely on
writing.
the cusp of it.
Yeah.
Did I make that up?
Yeah, definitely.
He's cried a single tear before.
Somebody cries a single tear somewhere in these 5 chapters.
No, he cried a single tear
He
telling
did.
the earlier story.
He absolutely did, but I think it happens again. Like,
No,
Maybe when Roran puts his rock on the shelf.
that was tragic.
He's so upset
Let's
about
talk
that.
about a name of power.
Yeah.
This is one of the very short chapters where not a lot happens, but Eragon is furious and, like, so upset the entire chapter.
Yeah, Eragon has abandonment issues. Times 7.
Yeah.
Ron's just like, actually, you know what? Things are going pretty well for me. I think I'm being offered a job, and I think this is a good path for me to become my own man.
Eragon's like,
And
I hope
Eragon-
Dad makes you stay forever.
Well, the funny thing is, Eragon's like, ha ha ha, can you believe he offered you a job? As if. And he's like, I'm taking the
I'm
job.
taking the job. It's gonna be
What?
good.
I'm 17. I'm basically dead. I need a wife now.
I need money so that I can build a house for my future wife. I gotta go mill the grain.
Eragon's just so bitchless. He just doesn't understand.
And also, like, they don't really know how a mill works. They
Oh yeah.
they get that explained the next time they come into town.
He's just like, you look like a kind of strapping young lad. Would you like to work in my mill? What's a mill?
Good enough for me.
Yeah, he's just like, Roran's gonna be gone for at maximum, I think, like 6 months.
Yeah.
He's not planning
just,
on
like,
doing that
going-
forever.
He's going for
like-
like the spring or something.
Yeah, I think end
Yeah.
of spring he'll be
End of
back.
spring.
Well, it's beginning of spring now, right? Well, it's kind of early winter now. I think he's gonna.
He's going until spring.
Yeah, like that's no time.
That's like 3 months.
3 months.
Yeah.
Eragon is freaking the fuck out, like, bad in this chapter.
You're leaving me forever.
He not
You're
only
becoming
is like,
a man.
it-
I'm not ready yet.
yeah, he's like moping around, and then he goes and like has an actual tantrum at his dragon for like hours.
He's screaming out
He's
there.
Yeah.
flipping out in the forest. It's like, dude, he's gonna be back soon, really soon.
Yeah.
I thought maybe he was upset because he's got no friends, and Roran's going to leave him along with weird Garrow for 3
Oh my
months.
god,
Yeah.
weird hero, so weird.
So weird. I was about to say something that is a huge spoiler, but we'll get to it.
Saphira getting her name is quite nice, though.
It's very
Yeah.
nice. She's very, like, coy and funny about it.
Yeah.
She's very like, no, none of these names quite suit me. And then Eragon's like, what?
No way, you're right,
Women?
girl. It's the first girl he's ever talked to, and she's not even a human.
He's talked to Katrina, but she's
Not for him. Yeah, she's kind of
he's
like...
talked to Katrina, but only to deliver love notes.
Yeah,
from
Roran
Roran.
said. She's kind of her little sarcastic when he's like comes back and she says his name and he's like, "Is that the only thing you can say?" And she's like, "Yes."
Yes. It's
Like,
pretty
oh,
funny.
you got jokes. I think I keep almost saying Seraphina. I think Saphira she's well characterized in these chapters, but like it's kind of a testament to how well he keeps up her character, just like through the book.
Yeah.
Especially, we'll get into Flight of Destiny in a bit, but like she's extremely protective of Eragon, which is very cute and fun. I like her a lot, but like I don't know, I think she's very sassy. Like a lot of the time. I think that's a very fun character trait for your dragon to have.
Yeah.
Girl boss slay about it.
She is I won't lie, she gets kind of girl bossy. Later though. She's like a month old. So.
She's got more time to slay.
I think she's like two
Maybe
or
2
3
months.
When Sloane's reading him out, he
It's like
mentions
3
how long
months.
it's been. It's
Yeah.
like 3 months or something.
Yeah. But that's all that happens in that chapter. He throws a tantrum in the woods.
Yeah.
And oh my god.
And Saphira gets a name.
Saphira gets a name.
Yeah.
And Roran says, "I'm going to go get a job."
And then they go, the
For a few
next
months.
chapter is like having family dinner.
They go back home. A miller to be.
Villain to be.
My notes are so
There's
sparse
nothing-
on this.
The entirety of the notes I have for this chapter, which I think is even more than you just showed me
This
that you
again
had,
is a shorter
is
chapter than the
Eragon
last.
is so upset with that Roran is leaving, and Garrow is okay with it.
Yeah.
Roran doesn't bring the shiny rock Eragon gave him. Devastation reigns. Saphira wants to stay secret.
Yeah, that's about it. Saphira says, "Don't show me to anybody."
But yeah, Roran putting that rock on the shelf,
So tragic.
like,
Tragic.
Eragon is shattered. It's like the worst thing that's ever happened. He's like on the verge of tears. He's like, I'm not going to have the heartfelt goodbye I was about to have. Maybe I won't say goodbye to him at all tomorrow. I can't believe this.
We are
It's
getting
like,
this all
it's a shiny rock.
We're getting this all out of one line, by the way.
He's so upset.
And then he's so upset.
He is
He
upset.
continues being upset in more than that one line.
It's a very
like-
it's a
slow
very
burn.
tangible scene.
Yeah.
You can
And
definitely
I like the description. It's
I'd
fun.
like to find this. What
Mhm.
does he say?
There is a hard lump formed in Eragon's throat, and he left. It's visceral.
He's
You can
sick.
feel that disappointment.
I mean,
it's great.
if somebody I really loved was packing to leave and they picked up a thing I'd given them and on purpose didn't bring it with them,
Actually
Mhm.
devastating. Heartbreaking.
it would be over.
I understand.
There's also a bunch of descriptions of Roran himself. It's like Roran, his eyes shaded and the back of his neck tense, with rolling blankets around his clothes and belongings. He paused, then picked up something from the pillow and bounced it in his hand. He had taken it off the shelf, put it on his pillow with his bedding that he was packing, and then put it back on the shelf.
He starts to tuck it into the bundle and then stops.
Why
Like-
did he not
and
take
puts it
that with
back.
him?
What? It's just a rock.
It's a little
dude.
rock.
Take the damn rock.
Yeah.
Eragon loves little trinkets.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
discovering.
Eragon
Kind
loves
of a
to
cool
find
rock
stuff
guy.
on the floor. His
Also-
gnarled root that he loves to stare
Yeah.
I'm
at.
obsessed with it.
Saphira's nice in this chapter.
Mm.
A little bit. Aragon and Saphira talk, and Aragon finds out that he can go sit on Saphira's shoulder.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
that
they
he
just
fits
hang out a
nicely
bit
in
more.
there.
She's grown again.
Yeah, he describes her as being a real person for the first time. She's like a kind of a weirdo.
She catches an eagle and then lets it go.
Because no predator should ever be.
Die pinned to the ground.
So dramatic about it.
Why did you do that?
Why didn't you catch it?
It's like, girl, I think if you caught that eagle with your claws, it's gonna die.
Yeah. You've kind of already killed that
I'm
bird.
not sure how well it's gonna handle that, but okay.
Yeah, so it's 2 weeks, in Militaby it's 2 weeks till Roran goes.
Yeah.
And so Aragorn just mopes the entire time.
And he goes like, "Oh, I'm gonna tell Roran about Saphira before he leaves." And then, like, the rock scene happens.
Yeah, he's like going to tell her about this world-shattering secret.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not taking my rock?
Die.
Well, forget
Well,
about it.
you're-
What if
to
you
know
were about to
anyway.
learn about Dragon's existence, but then...
You put down
Yeah.
the cool rock.
Oh, God.
And then we get to strangers in Carvahall.
And they're having, breakfast is cold, but the tea is hot. And once again, Weird Garrow is weird.
Oh,
He's
Garrow's so
described
weird.
like a skeleton man or whatever.
He's
Like his
so
shirt is
described
hanging
again.
off of him.
He's so dry and
He's
bony.
gaunt. He's drawn.
And he
He
won't
gives
go
a
with-
fucking insane monologue. He
Oh
won't
my
leave the
God.
house to say goodbye to his son.
His speech to them is so
It's
strange.
crazy.
It's funny. I think
I
it's cute.
I think it's kind of cute, but it's insane.
It's
things that
endearing,
do.
but it's so crazy.
It's like he had been preparing that. Since
He's, like,
Roran
shy
turned
about it as
14.
well.
No,
He's
like,
been like
Yeah.
practicing this since he was like had the first moment of my boys are growing up, and
I
he's
think he
been like
has.
he's got it perfect. He's perfected it, and he's like, do not ever trust authority. Do not ever believe a man is greater than you are. But do not ever treat someone how you would not like to be treated.
This is like the first moment that Garrow's been a good father.
Yeah, it's Garrow's
Yeah, and he's
first
giving
try at
him a little
parenting, and it's
Yeah.
when they're leaving the house.
a little coin bag. Like, it's not much, but you can buy a trinket. And Roran's like, I have no need for trinkets. I am saving for my
Well,
betrothed.
clearly, you didn't bring your cool rock.
Yeah, you.
Yeah,
Yeah, you've got no time for trinkets.
Hate
Hater.
trinkets.
I don't like Garrow.
Mm.
I never thought much of him, like, not in that
Yeah,
I
you don't
thought
see
little
much
of him.
of
Yeah,
him.
but I never, like, when remembering the series, I
Yeah.
never thought about, oh, good old rambunctious Garrow, but
Because he's
he
half
just,
dead.
he's half dead and he sucks.
for no reason.
I
Yeah,
think it's funny
I
and endearing that he's such a bad father right here.
I do
he's
think
trying
that.
his best
He's just like, I guess I'll try.
for once.
But I think considering what's about to happen, I won't say anything much more than that, but, like, I think he could have done
I'll
it.
never tell you what we did to that
I'll
old
never
man.
tell you. But, like, I think considering that it might have been, like, a little bit more emotionally impactful if we actually liked him. And if he was a character and not a scary skeleton that lived in Eragon's
Yeah.
house.
Oh my god.
Like, what is the thought process
They never-
behind this characterization?
He
Why
is
he
never
so
even
steady and
described
gaunt?
as doing work on the farm, ever.
No.
Like, it's Roran and Eragon were, like, ploughing the fields and harvesting everything.
Well, he's like,
and
his
he's
bones
just...
are hollow and
He's
his
whipping
skin's
the bones.
coming
Yeah,
off.
and he's like, I don't know, like, staring at the pig or whatever.
He's out, he's
I'm not sure
drying
what
in the
that's a
sun.
euphemism for, but it's something.
Staring at the hog, you said?
I don't think that.
No, I don't
he's
think so, because
staring
he
at a
says
hawk.
here, give me your ear but not your heart, so...
Well, you can stare at the hog without giving your heart.
Anyway, yeah, they look back at the farm.
Oh yeah, that's
pitifully
really
small
like
and
beautiful.
fragile.
The Roran's like, that there is our whole world, being like, I'm moving beyond this. How exciting! And Eragon says, it's a good one too. And
He's-
then
Don't
Roran
leave.
turns away
He's
and
just
walks starts to walk down the road, and Eragon
Aw.
He
follows.
doesn't want him to go so bad.
Yeah.
It is very, like... Obviously he has attachment issues because his parents abandoned him.
The fact that he didn't know that for so long, and then like got it. This is why if you have an adopted kid, you don't dump it on them
You
when they're
need to tell
12.
them
Because
immediately.
this will happen to them. They need to know about
It
it.
exacerbates it, makes it much worse.
When you're just like, I am a child and these are my parents, and then one of your parents dies and the other one tells you actually you weren't our son ever.
Yeah, he
Actually, I can't remember.
No, she tells him and then she dies.
Yes, okay, yeah. You are not my son. Good, great. I mean, I probably wasn't a deathbed, so I guess she didn't have any say in the fact that she was about to die unbeknownst to her. But it wasn't ideal.
Yeah, his little monologue is so funny. Again, Garrow raised a bony hand, his eyes grave. What's wrong with this guy?
Like,
consumption.
Like, it's not commented on. No one's like, oh, how's
Poor
your
Garrow.
uncle? How's your uncle holding up? It's been a while since we've seen him in town or anything.
I guess they never see him.
Like,
well, he came for the traders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there are other ways. He's clearly a thin dude, but there are other ways to describe your little skinny freak character without making it sound like they're like
A skeleton.
collapsing and turning to dust. Yeah, he's
not
not
old.
dead.
He's not even old.
He's probably in his like 40s.
Yeah, he's a strapping 17-year-old lad.
He could be 30. Like,
Yeah.
wait. He could be 35.
Oh,
Anyway,
these times.
I like
way back in generic medieval fantasy.
It's a nice turning point for both of the boys to be growing up, right?
Yeah. And one of them striding forward happily and the other one's upset
I
about
don't
it.
want it.
Yeah, it's definitely like,
It's cool.
It's a good representation of like being a teenager and going through like a period of change and being really like coming up against it as like a wall. And
Yeah.
he's obviously, there's a lot going on in his life right now.
Oh, you can't talk to anyone about it.
Yeah. It's
Oh, except Sophia.
kind of hard
And
for
she
him.
is the
And she's the
problem.
thing. Sorry, but you are the problem.
Sorry,
Like-
babe, you are the problem.
He's having a bit of a rough time, and now he has to hang out with his weird uncle for 3 months by himself.
Oh, yeah, he has to live with his weird uncle now.
And he's going to do all the farm work all by himself because Garrow doesn't do anything.
Things are looking pretty rough for Aragon.
Yeah, it's not easy for him.
So the next half of the chapter.
Yeah, they
They
go
reach
to the
Cobble.
forge, and Dempton's there.
Dempton's there and
His
he's
big
like,
mustache.
if I had 2 jobs available, I'd surely take you as well. And then Aragon's just so mad about everything that even though he clearly does not want to be left behind, he's also like, how fucking dare.
I would never come work at your mill.
You
No
are
way I'd
stealing
work at
Roaring
the
from
mill.
me.
He's like, this dude's like perfectly polite and really nice and like, oh, you seem like such a nice young lad. And you're just sitting there.
In a couple of years, I'll be after another young middleman, and yeah.
He's just sitting there brooding and
Aragon's
fuming. Like, I hate you. How can you do this to me?
Dempton telling Roran like how the mill works is very funny.
These 2 rocks here.
Alright, kid, this is what you've signed up for.
So is he just going to be pushing a stone
I
around?
don't know.
That's what I was thinking. I don't know how a mill
Surely
works.
they have some kind of beast of burden to do that.
Well, the village that they're on is that they're going to is on the river.
Yeah.
So like it would make sense for it to be a watermill.
Yeah.
So maybe he's just like getting the
Yeah, maybe just like sorting
Grain out
the
from
refined
the-
grain.
oh my god, Roaring Graham Entrapment.
No.
But if that was how he went,
That would shorten the series so extremely.
not enough fantasy characters go up by a grain entrapment, and I feel like that was a very common death in medieval times.
What would you even do if someone got grain entrapped in your silo?
You wouldn't
There's
know.
a corpse in there.
Yeah.
You can't. What do you do with the grain?
I guess you'd empty it out from the bottom into wagons until you find the body.
Then what do you do
You put
with
it back in the top.
Someone died in
Someone
there.
died in there.
If you get in there quick enough, sure, it'll be fine.
You have to like stop making the grain and refining it all into a silo, then empty out the entire silo, and then somehow get the body out of there. And also, at the same time, not get grain entrapped in there.
Maybe you just seal it up. It's like grave goods, you know? Oh yeah, we know this guy died by grain entrapment because he was buried with a lot of grain.
Inside a silo above ground.
They're just gonna make a new silo.
Yeah, they just seal it up and leave it. Fuck it, that's
fuck,
Bob's
not
grain
again.
now.
I mean, you would think about it, wouldn't you? You'd be like,
It's a lot of
Oh,
work to
God.
get out.
pretty full.
But then again, that's all your grain.
Oh man, there's
And
a lot of grain
that's
in
your
there.
that's your barley food for the next like year. I wish we had a silo full of grain.
You're getting trapped.
I wouldn't go in. I would never get grain entrapped because I'd never go into a silo. That's what you don't think about.
Words to live by.
Exactly. But if we had a big silo full of wheat, did you guys ever have chickens growing up?
No.
You've never had the joy of big bag of wheat. It's excellent. We had a big, like, one of those black trash bins that you get from, like, Mitre 10, just completely full to the brim with wheat, and you can just kind of get in there.
I've had a big bag of pellet and seed. Very similar.
It's great. There's something very primal about holding just grains in your hand. It's like getting in the rice bag. Not that I get in the rice bag.
Don't get rice entrapped in there.
Could you get rice entrapped? I feel like
The way they...
What if you
No,
got
'cause
grain
rice
entrapped
is
and
from-
then you got flour exploded?
grain is so dangerous. What are we doing?
We're just eating that shit? Come on,
What if it
guys.
explodes in you? I guess that's what happens to gluten intolerant people.
Rice is
Nice.
much
Rice
safer.
is real. Rice is much safer. Well, because, like, think about it. Rice flour is so much more slippery, and I think the thing that is creating the crust on top of a silo of barley or wheat, that's the gluten. You would never get rice entrapped because you would never think it was a walkable surface. And
Well, I
also,
can't believe people ever thought it was walkable.
it's not smart.
Like,
No,
surely
it's
one
not
guy
walkable.
falls in and dies and you never ever walk on the grain ever again.
Are people keeping rice in silos?
Where
Oh,
do they keep it?
Bags? Big box?
maybe we'll have to do our research and come back to
Yeah,
this
I don't know
one.
too much about
I mean,
rice.
what
I
is
do
a
know-
silo without a big box?
There are salt factories where there is just a fuck ton of salt, though.
Can I go?
I've seen, like, a building collapse and there's just salt pouring out the side of it. It's really funny.
Oh no. Okay,
Let's get back to the
let's
book.
talk about grain entrapment.
Warren will not get grain entrapped.
Rowan
Do not
will never
worry,
get
dear
grain
listener.
Dampton's very good at his job in running this mill, I think.
Yeah, I have no idea.
So,
Yeah, and
Aragon...
gets his little warning from Horst.
Yeah.
Thanks, Horst.
Thanks,
what
Horst.
a good guy.
Yeah, Aragon's like expecting him to be like, "You owe me money, boy," and he's instead like, "Look out,
There are some real freaks in town looking for you.
be,
and
caref-
your
be
fucked up
careful,
rock.
my boy."
Yeah, he basically just says that there's some scary
Never good when the
strangers.
government comes.
They're all dressed in black and carrying swords. We
They've got big lumps.
well, Horst doesn't mention the lumps.
See the notes that Charlie's written down here.
Well, I like them, you see. I do have.
You like our hooded assassin.
I just think they're. I just think they're neat. I do have. Are we saying their names?
Oh, nah.
We know who they are. I have the name of what the assassins are written in pink with hearts all around it because simply I love them and I think they're very fun villains. But yeah, he just kind of walks around town looking
my
for them.
Yeah, Horst tells him this. He's like, "Be careful. You should go straight back home and get rid of that rock." He's like, "Where are the guys?" And he's like,
What?
"I
No.
didn't tell you about this, so you can go find the guys." And he's like, "Yeah, you're right."
I'm
gonna go find the guy.
I'm gonna go and look for them. Does he look? Is he thinking about? Oh yeah, he wishes he had his bow. What is that gonna do, dude?
You're gonna shoot these guys in the middle of the street?
Some government agents are after me. I better kill them. They're just gonna send more. But yeah, Roran heads out, and then he just like
And then Aragon's like,
he's listening
I'm
on
going.
everyone's windowsill. Like,
Yeah, he's like in the alleyways, like listening. And then, I guess after doing that long enough,
there's a
he,
quick goodbye
he
to
gets
Horst.
lucky.
Yeah, of course it was slow and
Slime is such a
Of course it
cunt
was
for
Sloan.
no reason.
Horst is like, yeah, everyone in town knows not to talk to the government. Damn bludgers. And then Sloane's like,
Anyway, so he was here 3 months ago and he tried to sell it to me. Like,
well, actually, he sounds like he really is hating being in the conversation, but he is telling them everything.
he doesn't get anything out of it.
Yeah, no, everyone else is just like,
I don't know.
I don't know.
But I think-
Fucking rock, I don't know.
Sloan's selling them because he hates Aragon.
Yeah, but like, it doesn't even sound like he's having fun getting him, you know, being like, ah ha ha, this boy.
Maybe he was like, ah ha ha, I know the rock, and the guy started interrogating him. He's like, whoa, I did not
wait.
sign up for
No,
this.
I think these guys are so creepy.
Yeah.
They're so creepy.
Can we read out the description
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
their voice? Their voice was deep and moist. It conjured up images of creeping decay, mold, and other things best left untouched.
There's another one. So both of them talk.
Oh, yeah, the
one
first
of them,
guy. You go.
where is it?
The words were
Smooth like oiled glass and seemed to worm their way through the air, underlying the speech with a strange hiss that made his scalp prickle. Like, they're both the creepiest, grossest, weirdest guys ever. And someone's like, I guess I'll give you my information about the child from my village. Like, what is... I know his beef is with Aragorn is that he just goes to the mountain where his wife... But, like... Bro, that is not a reason.
That
Over
the falls.
She'd go over the falls.
That's not
a
normal behavior.
No, it's so unreasonable that he is doing that. And then Aragorn gets, like, psychic illness.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's the results. Cut it. The assassins.
We don't even know they're assassins.
The guys.
The government
The guys. They're extremely menacing, and I love them. But they have, like,
psychic power.
Evil eye vision.
Yeah, they look at him and he's like, I'm dying, I'm passing
He
out.
comes over with the worst illness ever.
He's like, I can't move, and then Brom's walking up like, hey, Aragorn! Aragorn, hey, what's up?
Why
and
are you
he's like,
full body sweating?
he's like, Aragorn's like, I can't move. Brom's coming from around the corner, he can't see them. It's all gone wrong.
He passes. He, like, takes a step forward and they instantly drop into a crouch, draw their swords, and then do like a mind spell on him. And he's just like any child from the village. They don't know it's him.
They don't know it's him. But then Brom walks up like, hey, Aragorn!
And fucks his life up forever. This is all Brom's fault.
Well, it always was.
Yeah, literally, this is all Brom's fault. They are
And then Brom's like,
horrible
I
beasts.
thought you remembered the name of that traitor. Wink,
Yeah.
wink.
His funny little, oh no, I've dropped my mitten. I'm so old and decrepit. Could you pick it up for me? He grabs his hand and stares at it. Thank you for the mitten.
I think does he rip, like, Aragorn's glove off his hand?
I thought it was his own glove.
Oh, he does. Yeah.
I thought it would be a little bit much to rip Aragorn's glove off, throw it on the ground, and then say, pick it up.
Yeah, that's me. Can you show me the palm of your hand real quick? Yes, he gets a glimpse of Aragorn's dragon marks.
It's a bit more than the glimpse, staring at
Puts
it.
his eyeball right
And then
up against
says,
it.
"Oh, you'd best get home. It's a
No,
long walk, but you'll feel a bit better when you get there."
It is very confusing, but it is Aragorn's mitt.
Is it seriously? He rips his mouth
is
and
he
throws it on the ground?
Yeah, Aragorn shakes Brom's hand, and something in Brom's hand caught on his mitt. Pulled it off.
Yeah, I thought it was. So
Yeah.
yeah, he rips his glove off and is like,
That's
cool
such
hand.
an insane thing to do that I completely, changed it in my mind, because
Yeah.
who does that?
Well,
Nobody
Brom
in this
clearly
village
knew,
knows how to
so.
act like a human being.
Brom knows and confirms it and looks directly at the...
And then at the
huge
camera.
part. Yeah.
Like,
And Aragorn's
Oh,
like,
sorry.
weird.
he
No,
skips off
Brom-
whistling a merry
Brom
tune.
pulls his mitt off, throws it, it falls on the ground. He throws it on the ground. Then the old man picks it up, clumsy of me, and he apologized and handed it back. As Aragorn took the mitt, Brom's strong fingers wrapped around his wrist and twisted sharply.
Oh, I know why he does this, but...
It's clear why he's doing it, but, that's the worst. Shake my hand, boy, rip off your glove, throw it on the ground, pick it back up, give it back to you, twist your
break
wrist.
your arm.
Stare directly at your wrist.
Very, very, very unsubtle.
And Aragorn's
And
like,
then-
oh, that was weird.
And then Aragorn says as goodbye. Aragorn forced out, perturbed, and hurried down the road. Behind him, he heard Brom whistling a merry tune.
Yeah, he's just skipping away happily, like...
He's like,
Got him.
ah, new rider, I see.
Oh, and Aragorn fully not telling Brom about the, evil monsters that are right around the corner and just cast a psychic spell on him. He's like, I guess that's not really relevant right now. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go home.
That's not important.
Well, no, he has a thought about it. He's like, oh my god, Brom's coming here. Brom, you're gonna get got by the evil monsters. And then they go away.
And they
Oh,
walk
okay,
away,
fine.
and he's like, well, I don't need to tell Brom about the monsters.
Yeah, and then he, runs 10 miles home.
I always forget it's that far.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Yeah, so we're on Flight of Destiny, our final chapter. But yeah, encounters some weird guys and sprints home, like crying and throwing up the whole time.
Yeah.
goes to the forest, summons Saphira to talk.
Does she know what these guys are?
I think she has some kind of like genetic ancestral memory.
Yeah.
Because she really freaks out.
She freaks out extremely and is saying like oaths betrayed, souls killed, eggs shattered, blood everywhere, murderers.
Fire.
Like she has to know something because otherwise that's batshit.
Yeah, you're just being a bit insane.
You'll just guess that otherwise. It's a pretty wild guess. So yeah, I think she has some kind of like secret dragon memory that she's never brought up before.
Yeah, and so he jumps on her back to give her a hug to calm her down, and she flies away. Now, I've got green text here, tries to give her a hug, goes on the most harrowing journey of his life. Like, he's like, it's okay, chill out, and she flies away with him on her back.
That is something he has not experienced up until this point.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's
God.
their first ever flight.
He's so dizzy and throwing up. He's like actually vomiting the whole time. And I think he knows that something really bad is about to happen because he's very, very, very concerned about Garrow.
Yeah.
And I think having seen those guys, it's kind of...
Well, something's wrong.
Something's really wrong.
And Saphira's like blocked him out entirely, which is funny.
Yeah, this is a kind of a short chapter. Yeah, pretty short chapter. But the gist of it is that...
Description's really good.
Yeah, really, really good
The imagery is
description.
really fun.
Yeah. It does a really good job of making it seem... It's very frantic.
The stakes are really high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're very frightened for them, I think, the whole time. The middle chapters in this are kind of nothing happens.
Yeah, a little bit of nothing happens.
Yeah, Eragon gets the worst injury ever.
She lands and he just falls off because now that he's no longer about to die if he lets go, he doesn't have the strength in his legs anymore to hold on.
Yeah.
And
He fully face plants in the ground. He hits the snow. Face hits the snow.
Yeah.
And
her scales have stripped all of the skin off the inside of his legs.
Yeah.
Which, doesn't get better quickly.
Not for a long time.
Yeah, he's really injured for quite a while after this.
He can't stand.
Yeah, and that just really stuck with me, I think, when I was a kid. Because, oh my god, that shit would hurt so bad.
Yeah.
Everyone's thinking, how cool would it be to ride a dragon? And then there's this, terrible, terrible description of how awful it is.
Yeah, you need a saddle.
You cannot ride that.
No.
That beast.
That beast.
That beast is not for riding.
No, and it's just he's very, very injured, and very tired and terrified. But I think his thought pattern here is also he's thinking really objectively about the situation, considering everything. And I think that's, I don't know, it's a little bit of a flaw in the writing, I think. It's it lets you know what's going on, but also, realistically, you'd be on the floor face down screaming and crying and freaking the fuck out.
He's doing a little bit of
He
that.
has got it in him to be a little bit of a bitch to Saphira, though.
Yeah.
Well, he kind of would be.
He's always got some energy to be a little bit of a bitch.
These girls are fighting so often. But she says death is a poison.
Yeah.
Which,
what a weird thing to
What
say.
did she mean by this?
I've read this book tens of times, and I never know what she means by that. Huh? I don't think it's it doesn't make sense in the context of the rest of the novel. She just says it, and it's a really weird line out of nowhere, and it never gets revisited.
Well, she likes to be dramatic.
Maybe it's I could protect you from them, but I'd have to kill them, and killing is the poison. But that's not obvious at all.
Yeah, I think,
and they kill,
and they are killing. But yeah, I think maybe it was obvious to the author when he was writing it, but it doesn't make sense kind of in the context of the chapter or the rest of the novel. But whatever, it's one line, it does not matter.
Yeah.
She's just being very weird in this chapter.
And then she says, I don't need to make you a shelter, you can come under my wing and I'll keep the fire inside me will keep you warm. And he's like, okay, but you need to get rid of the snow.
Yeah, you're gonna make me... And then he's just sleeping on dirt.
And
Yeah.
he's like, oh, fucking dirt, are you serious? But he can't move.
You're not even gonna make him a little nest of pine needles or anything? He made you a hut in the trees.
He made her multiple huts. He made her bigger huts. She got bigger.
And then, like, she's dragging him over and hits a rock. Like, oh,
Oh my god. Yeah, this does a really good job of, like...
these guys hate each other.
They're really mad at each other. Eragon is in massive pain.
Yeah, he sees stars from the jolt of hitting that rock.
Yeah,
Everything has gone so wrong.
really
right
wrong
now.
really quickly, and I think the drudgery, I guess, of the previous chapters kind of makes this hit a little harder, because,
Yeah, it's fun. It's sudden.
yeah, nothing really bad has ever happened to him, and this sucks so much.
Yeah. He does, he sheds a single tear
Ah.
I never lose.
and says, what have I done? Well, he thinks it.
Well, nothing. You haven't done anything. You got kidnapped. You got snatched away.
You left Garrow alone.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder if that'll be a
I
problem.
think he'll be fine. I think.
Probably.
He might just pass away in the night, like...
At 80
Yeah,
points.
nobody's feeding him warm milk from a saucer.
Do you think that the reason that Garrow has so many problems is because he's, like, eating a roast chicken for breakfast or whatever?
Oh, and
like
he has
they were
no
that-
vitamins?
That other day when they were just, like, tearing into a cold chicken for breakfast.
Yeah.
They had cold breakfast again today. I wonder if it was also...
Probably just a
Probably
chicken.
more chicken.
Yeah, they're growing a lot of vegetables, but what we don't see is the battery farm they have out the back.
We don't hear about that one.
Well, they've got to sell the vegetables back to the town.
So they can buy more chicken.
Buy more chicken.
Do you think Aragon's ever eaten a vegetable? Maybe when he goes to Horse's house.
Yeah, when they turn up unannounced on Horse's doorstep.
Yeah.
Horse and his wife think, oh my god, what is Garrow feeding these boys?
Just beasts only. What are the vitamin deficiencies you can get if you don't eat vegetables? Scurvy.
Scurvy.
Yeah.
Dude, he just has scurvy.
Yeah,
Garrow
Garrow's
has
got
scurvy.
hardcore.
He probably has an old wound somewhere that's reopened.
Yeah.
That's so fucked that can happen to you if you get really bad scurvy. Have you not heard about that?
No.
Yeah, if you have any old serious wounds that have healed but not, like,
Is that 'cause,
Totally
like,
scarred?
the cartilage or whatever?
I'm not sure why it is, but, like, scurvy really inhibits your healing capacity.
Yeah.
And if you get it bad enough, that your
You
old wound
unheal.
will just fall
I mean,
apart
I guess
like
it makes
loose
sense that
bread.
it's like breaking down protein, so the skin that's healed back is like the weakest part.
Mhm. Yeah, that's why a lot of pirates would just randomly die. Of
Aw.
like their old gunshot wounds would just reappear and they're like, oh okay, I'm gonna pass away.
Guess I'll die.
Do you think that the reason Roran and Eragon are okay is because when he was making them work the fields 24/7 so he could sit around graze at the hog or whatever, they were sneaking little mouthfuls?
If I was plowing
Here's
that
some raw
field, I
vegetables.
would be just eating handfuls of snow peas. No way you could stop me.
Yeah.
That saved them from scurvy. They found a blackberry bush like just outside of the house and we were like,
Are they not allowed to eat vegetables? Not Roran. Garrow's like that primeval guy online who only Liver King, who like only eats meat.
Garrow's like, you couldn't possibly eat a vegetable, could you? My name is Garrow. You see the connection? Marrow?
Garrow.
You would
These boys
never.
haven't eaten a vegetable since their mother died.
No.
That'd be dead, I think.
Yeah.
A teenager, that'd be dead or 4 feet tall. A teenager getting that little nutrition.
They're stuffing their face in the fields.
They're
It's
eating
okay.
grass off the ground.
They can digest some of it.
They're just eating pea straw.
They're eating
So after these
sweet
chapters,
sleeves.
it's vegetables in the fields no longer for these boys.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my god, yeah, they both go. Wow, the field is still there.
Yeah,
Maybe.
but for
Kind
now,
of. I can't remember. It's all fine. Everything's
Everything's
okay.
everything's fine. Everything's gonna
It's
be just
suspenseful,
fine.
but everything is A-okay right now.
Don't worry.
Don't worry about it.
Maybe even for real. But it's not gone bad yet.
As of this
I
moment,
fully can't remember. Well, the next chapter is called Death of Innocence. So,
what else have we got lined up for next
So
time?
I'm not sure.
Okay, but it's becoming nighttime now, and he has to
Sorry.
fly all the way home.
The next chapter is called The Doom of Innocence.
No, and then we've got Death Watch.
Oh my god.
Then the Madness of Life.
Okay, no, some bad things are happening in the next chapters. I'm not denying this. I'm just saying that I'm pretty sure the field is still there
I
and
think
we
the
could
field's
get some
still there.
vegetables.
Yeah.
Should we... I think this is an okay place to wrap
This
up.
is a,
Thanks for listening to us talk about Grain Entrapment for 40 minutes. So yeah, next week I think I'm on recap again.
Yep.
Sweet. We have The Doom of Innocence, Death Watch, and The Madness of Life. And if that isn't enough, but it
Well,
probably
check
will
the
be.
page.
Yeah, they're like
It's
5 or
15 chapters.
15
Well, I'm going
chapters.
to go. 15 pages. But if that doesn't feel like enough, we can get a writer's blade. Which, if,
I think that's a neat chapter.
yeah, that is a really good chapter.
Yeah.
I think that would be worth ending on.
I think that could be good. So 4?
Yeah, 4 will be for next week. Yeah. So everything's okay for him now, and
Everything
it's going to
is
stay okay,
completely
we
okay.
promise.
Promise!
It's so funny, the escalation, or he's just like, the worst thing in the world has happened. My brother is moving away.
Well,
Ah!
it all goes horribly wrong in the space of, I think, like half an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it goes wrong all in the space of however long it takes, maybe like 10 minutes either side, but however long it takes him to sprint home.
That is a Herculean effort. Like, 10
Wait
miles
till you
is
hear about the
20
horses.
kilometres, right?
16.
16.
Not any better.
Running for 16 kilometres
God.
straight. Last time I tried to go for a run, which was years ago, don't worry, I think I was able to run for about 30 seconds before I was like, oh, I'm a wee bit tired, I'm going to get into a brisk walk. Granted, Aragon's a lot more fit than I am.
Yeah, he's out in the fields every day.
If I was out in the fields, all my problems would go away.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's it for this week.
This has been E for Dragon.
Oh, come on.
No. Oh, no.
Cut it.
Somebody say it again.
This has been E for Dragon. Thank you guys for listening. And
Stumbled on that as well there.
Alright,
I
no,
can
no,
say.
no.
You go.
This has been E is for Dragon. Thank you so much for listening.
Alright.
Fine.
Let's get out of here.
I'll see you again next week.